It's game day, Detroit. You're waking up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit. It's now time for Woodward and Maine.
3, 2, 1. Let's get it.
We here. We're live, Terry. Good morning.
All right. I didn't know it was, man, this is quick.
We just hop on. There's no music. We just got our intro sweeper. We're here, Terry. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. So this is just raw dog. That's what we're doing this morning.
We're just doing it raw. Hey, going straight
Which
to it.
Which reminded me of the Lions last night, man. That was raw dog, man.
That was. Would you say it was an ugly game?
You know what? I was so entertained. I'm not going to use the term ugly.
Okay.
Because there was so much drama. You didn't know where the game was going to go. You didn't know who was going to win. You didn't know what the Lions DB was going to drop an interception. You didn't know when a Derek Goff pick was coming. So it was just so much. It was like the, going to the fun house.
Yeah.
And you're just walking through and you don't know who's going to come out and get you. Or the little haunted corn maze.
I was about to say, which fun house are you talking about? Are we going like haunted house, or are we talking like Lamar Odom type fun house?
No, it was a fun house. 'Cause at the end you were gonna be alive, but that was a game last night.
It was.
I'm not gonna call it ugly.
I'm gonna call it ugly.
You can.
I thought it felt like the very first preseason game. Like it felt like the offense and the defense, especially the offense, but both were shaking off some rust, like that they hadn't played since that 49ers game.
I thought the offensive line especially was trying to shake off rust.
Yes.
But then at the end, they were like, we back.
We back.
What up?
We back. What up? What up? We are back. This is Woodward and Maine. My name is Matt Broder, co-hosting with Terry Foster.
Good morning.
The legend Terry Foster. We're here every pregame, just before a Lions game on 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Sundays, and now the day after, Monday.
7 a.m.
Recapping the game, and we got the man, JB Smooth, Jeremy Bryant in the TD booth, helping us out. We got 50 minutes here, Terry. Wake Up Woodward is next, so we get 10 minutes cut off. But we're here. We get to be the first voice of the network talking about that game last night.
Right, and I'm happy to do that. 'Cause you know what? A lot of times I would say Lion fans want their team to win. I think, I went downtown, we're talking to people. It's like they needed the Lions to win yesterday because their stakes are so high. They're so different. The anticipation is different. This is the most anticipated season in Lions history.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Do you think they wouldn't be able to recover, Lions fans, if they lost that game last night, blowing a lead again? Blowing a lead again?
Right, on a 17-0 run it would have been.
Bro.
You know what? I think it would have cast a lot of doubt in this community, but I was thinking even if they lost that game, don't lose faith in this team because in the NFL there's going to be downfalls. There's going to be sour moments, but you don't want it to be the first game though.
Right.
So I think it would have touch people in a bad way.
the inappropriate kind of touching.
Yeah.
We would have been able to recover. Lions fans would have been able to recover, but you don't want to lose game one at Ford Field. The storyline with Stafford coming back. I mean, I don't know if you were listening to the NBC. Chris Collinsworth absolutely slobbering over Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams the entire game.
But you know what? I'll say this. Matt Stafford deserved to be slobbered over. That dude was really bad. Now, I mean, he played a great game.
With the double Ds.
Yeah. Now, I always talk about the white boy wiggle that Matthew Stafford has. Man, he showed it last night. They were pounding him. They were touching him. They were spinning him around, but he was getting loose.
He was. He always manages to escape that pressure and get it downfield. Last night to Cooper Kupp, it seemed like every single time. But no, he evades pressure. Jared Goff got in on the mix a little bit. The one Lions third down, it was like 3rd down and 7. He was able to scamper ahead for a first down. It was great.
Yeah, man. You look like Usain Bolt.
I know. Right? People say that he can't run.
Bitch, please.
There we go. There we go. It's starting, Terry. No, Goff is not fast. That was a big first down, though.
That wasn't a run. That was more like a gallop.
Like
not even a gallop. It was a gallop.
Like an awkward deer. Like just kind of figuring.
A deer that got shot in his hind leg. He's like, oh, boy, let me just try to get through here.
Like falls forward into the first line. It worked.
Right.
And it was huge. And that was, not to get on the negative side, but that was one problem I had all night. Some of the play calling on 3rd and short. I know that was 3rd and long, but Terry, Monty. Actually, let's start here. You taught me, as a young member of media, you taught me about like what type of player is David Montgomery.
And
you gave
I'm
me very
ashamed.
analysis.
I'm a little ashamed to tell people what I mentored you on about David Montgomery. But hey, here's what I always told young Matthew Broder. He's like, really? I said, yeah. David Montgomery is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, this dude is just tough, mean, and you know, you're supposed to win games in overtime with your quarterback. David Montgomery was the quarterback, the point guard, the point man, whatever you want to call it.
They fooled around and did one little end around to Khalif Raymond to start. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, like, hang on. Hand it off to Monty, run behind Penei Sewell, and let's end this game.
And we'll throw in a fullback.
Right?
So it was like, you know, and once again, it was what I always used to say about St. Brown is like when it was 3rd and 7. He knows what the play is going to be. The defense knows what the play is going to be. The fans know what it's going to be, but it still works. Last night in overtime, everybody knew what was coming. And the one thing that I always hear from fans, oh, geez, you know, the Lions are so predictable. Well, they were predictable last night, but it worked.
It worked, too. You almost knew what the Rams were doing, too, but they couldn't stop it.
Right.
That was the one problem I had. And on the offensive side, I thought the game yesterday, it should have been like one of those Green Bay Packers. The first Green Bay Packers game from last year, it was like week 4 where they handed the ball off to David Montgomery 32 times. Like, that's how it seemed the game was started. That first quarter was all David Montgomery. Then they went away from it. And there were some exciting plays, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't until the end of the 4th quarter and then overtime when they started to realize, what are we doing here? Hand the ball to Montgomery right behind Penei Sewell. Every time.
Yeah, well, I think what the strategy is you start with him and you try to wear the defense down a little bit. And I thought that was effective. The defense was dead tired. I'm talking about LA's defense. Thank God the Lions won the coin toss or lost it, or LA lost it, however you want to look at it. But they were dead tired, man. You could have had 7 Lion players out there, and they still would have pushed these dudes back. And Montgomery would have. He didn't need an offensive line. He just needed the football.
That dude just falls forward. Like, he probably can't even stand up straight without just, like, falling forward. It's hard to tackle that man.
Here's what I love. He would take the ball, get in the pile, disappear, and that little pile, like that little piece of dirt, it would just keep moving and moving and moving and moving.
You might see, like, a piece of his T-shirt under his jersey, like, being pulled, but that doesn't bring him down. No. Sometimes he'll have guys wrapped up around his legs.
Once again, David Montgomery is
a motherfucker.
He is. I'm telling you.
He's a beast. He's a beast. Terry, I want to ask you after this, I want you to rate the crowd down at Ford Field. I know we weren't there, so we got to take it with a grain of salt. We got it from what we heard on TV. But chat, thank you all for being here. From 1 to 10, just rate what you thought the crowd was last night. Before we get there, Terry, I got to ask you, because I thought that offense looked rusty. Does last night, does that make you regret not playing the starters at all in the preseason? Like questioning Dan Campbell with that decision?
No, he's done it 2 years in a row. And last time I checked is they won the game. You have 60 minutes to get up to speed. Now, here's what would make me fearful. What if you played your offense, you played everybody during the preseason, and you didn't have Penei Sewell last night?
Like,
are you going to be pushing that pile? No. What if David Montgomery hurts his knee and is not in that game last night? If you get to overtime, are you going to be able to run the ball 7 consecutive times? Are you going to have someone rush the ball 5 times for 45 yards in crunch time? You may not have. I like his strategy because I'd rather have health than freshness.
Okay. Does any of that factor into, or like, did you not lose faith as a whole in Jared Goff? But last night, that confidence that like he and St. Brown are just going to connect when you need a fourth down or a first down, that confidence wasn't there for me.
No, I temporarily lost faith in Jared Goff after he threw that interception where LA was able to take the lead.
Yeah.
And first of all, I didn't think they should have passed in that situation. I know it was 2nd and 8, and it's a passing situation. But I was sitting there saying I'd run the ball now. And I think, here's the other thing is, did St. Brown, a guy that we all respect and everything, did he get kind of shoved off of his route a little bit by the defensive back?
Oh, on that play?
Maybe the defensive back was a little bit tougher than St. Brown on that play. I don't know. Or did Jared Goff put it in a bad spot?
Yeah.
Two ways to look at it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see as it unfolds today. It looked like that safety who picked it off kind of snuck out of nowhere. Maybe Jared Goff didn't see him. Nonetheless, it just wasn't that clean of a game. I hear you on the injury front, and I'm with Dan Campbell, ride or die, in his decision making. Last night made me want to see them for a half in the final preseason game. And Ben Johnson, too. The offense felt rusty. It also felt like Ben Johnson's play calling was a little rusty. It was just like a chunky game. No pun intended, a Campbell's chunky soup. It was just, there wasn't a lot of rhythm to it. And that's when the Lions were at their best last year, it felt like they couldn't be stopped under 10 to 15 yards. It was just a guaranteed completion.
All right, young man. In my dealings with the National Football League and college football too, the first game is always a crapshoot. It's never pretty, or very rarely pretty, or one team gets blown out. Or I thought the NFL as a whole was rusty yesterday.
Yeah,
and some teams played their starters. Some teams decided not to. It didn't matter. Yesterday we love the NFL, but yesterday was a crappy day overall.
You think it followed the script? Do you think the script? I thought the script writers were in full force. I mean, how magnificent was that seeing Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford come together on the 50-yard line in overtime? Jared Goff wins the toss. Matthew Stafford has to turn his head. Matt Stafford, or John. Actually,
no. Matt Stafford lost the toss.
See, another loss. Mm-hmm. Another loss in Ford Field for Matt Stafford.
Right.
And little side note, how vintage was it? Vintage Stafford throwing a red zone interception.
Sure.
Also to Kirby Joseph, who we're getting used to him making.
You mean the dirty player?
Yeah. Another play, another dirty play on a Matthew Stafford pass. Am I right?
Yes.
Script writers, man.
Script writing. No, you cool, but that was it was cute and everything to see the two quarterbacks who were traded for each other out for the coin toss, but who cares?
Lions still pulled it out. So what would you rate that crowd last night? Week 1. The anticipation you said was probably the highest it's ever been for a week 1.
Well, I also got to interact with the people before the game, so I'm going to include that in. I thought it was a 10. I thought it was like, dudes, we don't want you to win. You got to win tonight.
Yeah.
And so I thought the crowd felt that they were willing them to victory. And I was talking to people beforehand. I just felt that really for the first time, Lion fans are like, you better win this.
Yeah.
But I was telling people this, and I was telling to the older people, I said, get your blood pressure pills because it's going to be a rough game tonight.
It was.
Right.
It was. If you missed the anxiety of close Lions games, of just football in general, like week 1, the energy and anxiety, it was there. I mean, we got it all last night.
Right. And didn't optimistic Matt, you picked the Lions to win by 7 touchdowns?
No, man. I picked them to win by 10. You had the closest prediction, I believe, 24-21, and they won 26-20.
I thought it was going to be a 4-point game. And
6?
I calculated it. Yeah, it was pretty close.
It was pretty close.
It was a 4-point game for a while.
Yeah. They did. So that crowd, it forced a false start. It did play a factor in this game.
Right.
I give it a 9. You call me out for being optimistic. You give it a 10 right off the bat. I'm giving it a 9. It was good.
They were nuts like yesterday.
I thought it could have been a little better. Like, I thought we were going to hear about decibel records. I thought we were going to have multiple false starts.
Do you really believe that decibel record? I mean, that decibel meter. They put it where they want to.
Yeah, well, I thought the person, whoever's controlling it, will type the number that's higher than the last playoff game to get the people going.
Well, no, what you do is you hold back, and then they're going to set the record maybe just before Thanksgiving or later in the season.
And then as it builds to the playoffs, now that there are hopefully, likely, probably, planning on.
No, they'll set the record the first playoff game.
Right, just keep raising the bar each time.
Right.
All right, 10, 9. Now, what about after witnessing that game? We're just covering this all right at the start. After this game was over, looking back, what would you have paid for a ticket to that game? You know, ticket prices are raising, the secondary market's getting wild, but all things aside, like, is that a $5 range, $50, $500, $5,000? What would you pay to have gone to that game if you were a regular old fan, a Lions fan?
Well, I think yesterday was a $500 game.
Okay, not the tip, not the max, not.
No, because you know what, they could have afforded a loss yesterday. I know it would have been devastating. Everybody would be, oh my God, what's up with the Lions? But they could afford to lose that game last night. LA's going to be in the playoffs. They're very good, and they'll get better. And Matthew Stafford, I'm telling you, man, he still got it.
He's good.
Yeah, I was reading about him. His teammates were saying, yeah, he's still he doesn't have the arm strength that he had before, but he's still wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And he was wicked yesterday.
Yeah.
And plus, the Lions have to understand this. Everybody's coming after them. And I know Dan Campbell said, well, they won't have fire to find us because we're going to be in your front porch. But what the Lions used to do in the past is they would get up for opponents. You're like, man, where'd that come from? Now we're going to see other teams they're going to go beyond what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Like LA may not play as well next week.
And that team, the LA team, they played tough. They shouldn't have been in the same ballpark as the Lions. Like, the Lions should have blown them out of the water. They were so depleted in the offensive line, so depleted in their secondary. Lions just never put it away. They never stepped on their throats.
Right, let me give you another yes.
Bring it, Terry.
This is the National Football
I know.
League, little fella. People don't get blown out in the NFL. A blowout is like 30-20, like a 10-point game. That's a blowout.
Yeah. That's what needed to happen.
This is not college football where you see 48-7 and stuff like that.
Agreed. Well, that's why I predicted 31-21, a 10-point swing. They should have, like, if that's what we're going to put as a blowout, they should have beat them by 10 points.
I'm going to disagree. They could have, but you got to throw this in. LA could have beaten the Lions by 6 points. Don't say should have. Say could have.
See, I think the Rams, LA, could have beat the Lions by 6 points. I think the Lions should have beat the Rams by 10 points.
You're being a fanboy.
No. Okay. Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Do you remember hearing Ali McNeil's name? Did Aiden Hutchinson get home before, like, the third to last play of the game, which was a big sack, by the way?
Right.
It was Marcus Davenport and Levi Onwuzurike. They had a half a sack apiece. But, like, that offensive line, Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil should have both ate all night. And they were in the backfield, but they weren't able to get to Stafford. They weren't able to affect Stafford enough where Collinsworth could stop gobbling over that dude's sidearm passes.
White boy wiggle. He got it. I'm telling you.
He does. Everyone in the state knew who he was throwing to, though. He's looking for Cooper Kupp every single play.
Okay, that's every single game. And nope, the NFL, I'll give the Lions this much. At least Cooper Kupp wasn't 10 yards in the clear. He had to make some tough passes.
True.
He had to make some tough catches. Look, I thought Aiden Hutchinson showed that he's going to be a beast this year. Davenport has the potential to be a beast.
Animal.
Right. And I was impressed with the secondary, even though Stafford passed for over 300 yards. Sometimes you got to give credit to the other team.
Fair.
Stafford made some incredible passes. And, I mean, he's got people in his chest. He's falling back. Probably doesn't even see his receiver, but he got it there anyway. on a couple passes.
It's hard to see his receivers when your teeth, the shine of your teeth, are coming off your
What's
offensive
up with you
line.
and the teeth. I look for his teeth. I'm like, they look normal to me.
Well, he's got a mouth guard on during the game. Wait for his interview after. Funky teeth.
That was a mouth guard.
It was, I believe. But you are right.
Let me go to a second opinion. Mr. Smooth,
What's
does
up?
Matthew Stafford have funky teeth?
I think he had funky teeth. Now he's got them fixed. No.
See, I think the fixed teeth are the funky teeth. But you do have to give him credit. Brandon Hasso, I think it was Brandon here in the chat, said McVay's a good coach, Broder. He knows how to scheme about it. It's true. Like, they were getting the ball out early so that Hutch couldn't get home. But still, like we're talking rookies, second and third guys on the depth chart all over that offensive line. But Terry, so we've talked a little bit about the game. After the game, if that game didn't end at midnight, maybe it was
I didn't even look at the time. I just know I was tired.
Yeah.
I was exhausted for watching that game.
You weren't going to the bar after the game. But if you were,
No.
if you were, and you could have a beer with, I'm gonna ask you for two players. But first, which player from last game, and interpret as you please, something positive, negative, who would you want to go to the bar with, have a beer after that game, and just ask whatever you want to ask to?
Okay. I'd want to have a beer. And part of having the beer with someone is you get the truth out of them. Alcohol is a truth serum. So I don't want to just talk to somebody. I want to have that beer with them. I got two people, David Montgomery and Penei Sewell.
Okay.
From this standpoint, normally when we talk about game-winning drives, it's quarterback-driven. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Matthew Stafford. It's even Kirk Cousins. But what was the mindset of L.A. is boning up to stop you, L.A. is boning up to be tougher than you, but you were tougher than them? I just want to know what that mindset was. What sense of accomplishment do they have when you pull it off? They pulled off the impossible. Today's NFL, man, you got to pass to win.
Yeah.
The Lions are like, no, screw that.
That's not us. Or not us today. Not us at this game. We need our offensive line and David Montgomery to carry us right now.
And he'll
Pun
never
intended.
admit this, but maybe, like us, Dan Campbell temporarily lost confidence in Jared Goff.
He might have. I think that's fine. That's fair on a game-to-game basis. If he doesn't have it, if the offense doesn't have it, they pretty much took St. Brown out of that game.
Right.
Laporta, I think he ended up with 4 catches, 45 yards, but wasn't really a factor. He had a huge play at the end of the game. Wasn't really a factor. You're right. They want the C.J. Strouds, the Jordan Loves. They want the passing. They did it with David Montgomery and a beast of an offensive line.
Right. A guy said won't be the featured back by the end of the season. But you know, when I saw, did you see that video where he deadlifted 700 pounds?
Yeah.
When I saw that, I saw this dude's ready for this season.
Imagine trying to tackle David Montgomery. His quads, they're huge. I'm looking for something to compare.
You know what? One of my favorite plays from David Montgomery wasn't in a game.
No?
It was in I was at practice, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson was trying to tackle him. And David Montgomery, man, just looked at him and said, "Bitch, please get out of here." Just pushed his ass into the ground and just kept running. To his credit, Gardner caught up with him and eventually made the tackle after he gained an extra 10 yards. But he's like, "Man, who the hell are you, you little shrimp? Get away from me."
CD Deuce.
Right. CD Deuce, man. Get away from me, man. You're a scrub.
You see, by the way, Jaden Reed, former Michigan State Spartan great, making C.J. Gardner-Johnson look silly on that Friday night game, making him eat in some grass.
Yep.
Yeah. You said
maybe he's rusty.
I think so. You said David Montgomery. Who was your second one?
Penei Sewell.
Oh, Penei Sewell.
Right. Because they're running his way. And there was a lot of traffic over there. And Penei, man, was like moving people around like shopping carts.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go to Kroger and you just moving your shopping cart through the fruit section and stuff. That's what Penei Sewell was doing.
He's pushing all of the carts like one of those guys.
He's pushing 280-pound guys like shopping carts. Like, get out my way.
Yeah, excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm coming through.
And as more people pile on the shopping carts, just make that line of shopping carts longer and longer. It doesn't affect him.
As long as you got the wheels rolling, you're going to be able to move.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
That man's a beast.
Yeah.
I thought the offensive line didn't play very well. They played fine when they needed to, but like as a whole, part of that rust too. They're way better than that Rams defensive line, who have some really good young players, but they were not dominating the line of scrimmage. They did in overtime.
You know what they reminded me of?
What?
Michael Jordan.
The offensive line?
Yes. Like Michael Jordan could have a crappy game, but then at the end of the game, it's winning time. And that's what they did last night. It was like, okay, we haven't played well. Coach is telling us we got to finish this game. We're not going to let our team down. So it was winning time. It was like they weren't hitting game-winning shots, but they were moving the Rams out the way so that they could. And they probably felt they had to score a touchdown. Had to. Because Stafford was going to come down and go bloop, bloop, bloop. And the white boy wiggle was working. They would have scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
So they had to score a touchdown so Stafford didn't get a chance.
Or even giving Stafford a chance to lead them to a field goal. They got a pretty good field goal kicker in that Joshua Carty.
He was going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, Stafford was.
Yeah.
But he only needed a field. But nonetheless, you're right. They didn't want to give him.
But if you score the touchdown, you win.
Not if you're the first team to go, but if the Lions had punted or turned the ball over, all the Rams needed was a field goal to win without the Lions getting.
I know, but they were going to score a touchdown. All right,
I'm down.
And then if they score a touchdown, guess what? You lose.
You lose.
Bam.
Yeah. Hey, did you call me a fruit, by the way, Terry?
A fruit?
Yeah. The ski mask boy said he just told Broder he was a fruit. I can't remember you calling me a fruit. I like fruit, I guess. Chuck Brewer says, I don't know what this comment is on, but said, laugh out loud, Broder, Terry is dead on. Listen, young man. What did you tell me? What was he referring to? Chuck, let me know. Let me know. But also, real quick, Terry.
David Montgomery is a motherfucker.
That I agree. I listened. I learned.
And I did tell you something else. Oh, it was about blowouts. There's no blowouts in the National Football League.
That might have been what it was.
Right.
That might have been it. One last. We had a super chat from Dante151. Says, unless you're the Carolina Panthers, who got absolutely killed by the Saints yesterday, and the Cleveland Browns got curb stomped by the Cowboys. Yeah. That must have been in response to another comment, too, but it was ugly.
Blowouts. It happens.
It was ugly.
Happens, but for the most part, it doesn't happen in the NFL.
It was about blowouts. I was surprised that the Cleveland Browns got killed. But, Terry, for my guys, the two guys I want to go to the bar with, I want a beer with. One, and this was a lesson you taught me early in my career again, too. Over your, 50, 60, 70 years of analysis covering sports here in Detroit, you told me there are two things that every good defense needs.
Did you say 70 years of analysis?
That old. It's approximately between 60 and 80, like somewhere in there, right? Ha-ha! You told me two things. A defense needs two things. A great defense needs two things. One was, what was it? A dude with a big ass?
A dude with a big ass and a white guy with a ponytail.
A white guy with a ponytail. I want to get a beer with Alex Anzalone.
Okay.
I want to get a beer with Alex Anzalone because I want to ask him, what was his mindset leading up to that game? Yeah, all the good stuff. That man set the stage set the tone from the very first play, absolutely laying the wood. A tackle for loss. I think he had 13 or 14 tackles, 3 for loss. Alex Anzalone is one of those guys who has just continued to ascend. His game has just continued to ascend. He's the leader of that defense right now. He played like it.
Because in this town, you still have people say he can't play.
Right.
I was listening to people say Anzalone's going to lose his job. He might make the 53-man. That's what roster. So what are you guys talking about? This dude is good. I don't understand why people are so down on this man.
I can't figure it out either. He's been maybe the most consistent defensive player over the last 3 years. And he's gotten better and better each year. But that linebacker crew is not – I think he could be one of the better ones in the NFL. It's not without him. That dude's a beast.
No question.
The other guy.
That's something I need to figure out. And maybe people in the chat can help us. Because I was listening to some people talking about him. Is Anzalone going to make the roster this year? I'm like, he's in Gardner White commercials. Of course he's going to be on the roster.
Yeah, right?
Right.
There's a reason he's a captain of the team with Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, now Goff. Like, Hutch or Anzalone, he's that dude on that defense. Like, the blonde ponytail, that linebacker out of Florida, he's a real deal. He might be chasing a Pro Bowl this year. If he keeps up this play.
Not according to the fans in Detroit. He'll be, he won't even be on the team.
He'll be out.
I don't get it, man. What is it about Anzalone that people don't like?
I don't know.
Maybe you could help me for once today. What's going on here?
He's white.
He's white and people think he's slow.
Yeah. Like, he's not Jack Campbell white. He's long blonde hair. Like I don't know if everyone realizes the analogy or the connection you need to do with the big ass. You also need a guy long blonde hair. That long blonde hair, linebackers, A.J. Hawk, the great Jake Ryan from Michigan.
Right.
I know there's some other ones, but he's different, and he's an athlete too.
Right.
And
Even if you have a short ponytail, you still need that white guy with a blonde ponytail.
Yeah. So that was the linebacker or the Green Bay Packers formula all those years. Mm-hmm. Get your starting quarterback. Get a linebacker, long blonde white linebacker. White linebacker with long blonde hair.
There you go.
You got to be careful the order you put those words in. The order you put those words. Terry, this second player I'd want to get a beer with is Kirby Joseph. I want to hear unfiltered Kirby, dude. How good did that feel? What have you been thinking? What's been eating you alive since that playoff game when Matthew Stafford ran his mouth on national TV? The Rams keep pumping. You're a dirty player. You're clean play, Kirby, but you're dirty. Right. I see it on tape. I want to get that all out of Kirby Joseph. I also want to ask him, hey, Kirby, wasn't that interesting at the end of the game? The safety on the Rams, Cameron Kitchens, he gets an unnecessary roughness penalty, right? Hitting high. Hitting high. What was it on? It was on Laporta? It was on Laporta. That was the biggest play of the game. That's what allowed the Lions to make their comeback. Cameron Kitchens hitting high. But Kirby, if he goes low, he's dirty, even though it doesn't get penalized. I go, Kirby, you got it. Tell me how you feel, dude. I need to know. It had to feel so good.
That's right, and that's why you need to talk to him with that beer in him, because if you don't have the beer, he says, well, you know, Matthew Stafford has his opinions, and I didn't really pay attention to it. But, that's not true.
Right.
You don't get the truth a lot of times in post-game interviews and stuff like that. People say what they have to say or what's, just what the right thing to say.
Yeah.
But get that beer in them, and they're like, oh, I wanted to kick Matthew Stafford's ass when he said I was dirty.
We know he wanted to talk. And Jordan Leinart in the chat, I'm taking a quick look. He said, did you see Kirby's tweet after the game? I haven't seen it. Have you seen something?
I have not.
Maybe JB, could you check and see if there's something cool? Jordan Leinart, shout out to you. We'll see what he said, but I'm sure it was something,
Yeah,
throwing a little salt on the weaseling around saying what he wanted to say, but
right.
throwing a little jab. But I wanted to talk Kirby Joseph because I want to hit on that defense real quick, Terry. We got about 17 minutes left. We talked about Aaron Glenn yesterday before the game. Should he start on the hot seat?
I think I found it.
Oh, you found it?
I think I found it.
Are you able to throw it up on screen for us to see?
You know what? Let me send it to you and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do that. I'll look at it when I ask Terry this question.
The answer is no.
Fly, Terry, fly.
I don't think Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat now. I think he got off of it last night. I thought the Lions' defense was much better. They didn't play a team that was just mediocre. I thought the Rams played at a high level. They're very highly motivated. They made some big plays. But the Lions' defense, for the most part, gave them they were credible from the standpoint. If you hold someone to 20 points in the National Football League, that's like pitching a shutout.
Even that Rams offense, like just because they had Stafford and Kupp
and Puka Nacua,
boy, he didn't really play much.
I know, but
ankle
still,
injury, so
he was on the field early on. I mean, but they had guys. I mean, once again, Matthew Stafford, and I know this might be blasphemous in this town. That dude made some hell of a throws yesterday.
Yeah, he does that. And he also loses games.
He did. He does that.
He let him back. They should have not let the Lions get back into that. Lions should have never let the Rams get back into that. But to me, that was vintage Stafford, which is also why you didn't want to give him the ball back, because vintage Stafford would hand away the lead and then get a comeback.
He would. I was even nervous when he got the ball with 20 seconds left. I said he's going to make some incredible pass, and they're going to get in field goal range, and somebody's going to hit like a 70-yard field goal or something against the Lions to win the game.
That dude, apparently he's got the leg, maybe not 70, but I think
it would have been 70.
They needed it like 25, 30 yards. With these new kickoff rules starting at the 30, they didn't need to go very far. I'm with you. We can shit on Stafford, all we want. The dude's talented. The dude is talented. He's good.
He is.
I'm sick of Chris Collinsworth. I'm sick of that. Get over it, Chris.
But you know what? He deserved it. I like Chris Collinsworth.
Do you?
You know who doesn't like him? My wife is bitching about him the whole game. I think he does a very good job.
What you also told me too, you always listen to the wife. Happy wife, happy life. Your wife knows.
Yeah, but
she knows ball.
Not when it comes to football.
No,
you can tell her to go to hell.
No, really.
Now,
but she knows.
Now today, I'm taking her car in to be fixed. That's the happy wife, happy life. When she starts talking football, you say, "Shut up, bitch," or "Bitch, please."
Bitch, please. Transition.
Right.
Bitch, please. That is nice.
Basically, I told her last night. I said, "Shut up."
Is she down with Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down and kicking? Dan Campbell, he kicked the field goals last night, by the way.
No, he was.
He
got a little conservative.
I was okay with it. Last night, I thought they were the right calls. But Aaron Glenn, I thought they should have. I don't think they should have given up 20 points to that team. But nonetheless, they did enough to win. Again, that defense played well in spurts, played really well in spurts, and then other spurts they couldn't tackle. Terrion Arnold had some difficult penalty calls, some controversial, but to me, and I don't put this on Aaron Glenn, although maybe they need to get in the wide receiver drills a little bit more. How many balls are the defensive backs going to drop? 4 interceptions? I think 2 of them could have been pick sixes, go back for touchdowns. Brian Branch dropped an easy one. Carlton Davis near the end could have almost.
Carlton Davis hit him right in the chest.
Right in the chest. So much that he got hurt on that play. I don't know why, but he was down. What was that, 25, 30 seconds to go?
Here's something I've never seen before. You get hit in the chest with the ball, and then you don't even get your arms. Your arms don't even touch the ball. Just go bloop, bloop.
You got those dinosaur arms.
Those are dinosaur or alligator arms.
Alligator arms.
Right.
Or butterfingers.
He can't even say butterfingers because his fingers never touched the ball.
He was lubed up in Crisco. You know, down south, down in Alabama or wherever, they they lube up a big watermelon, and then the cousins they try to squish it.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I think that's a thing. Am I right?
I don't know. You're gonna have to educate me on that one.
That's deep down south.
Have you ever seen a watermelon lubed up? I just see you cut the watermelon, you eat it.
That's a normal thing to do, but when we go into some towns down south, you never know, Terry.
What do they fry watermelon down there?
Some places do actually.
Sounds kind of good.
No.
I mean, not the lubed up watermelon, a clean watermelon.
No, if you fry a watermelon, it will explode.
Really?
And then you'll get all the water in that grease, and it'll pop up on you and burn your face. Don't do it. Don't do this at home, kids.
Don't do this at home, kids. Don't do this at home. Terry, you kind of let into it, so let's hit it.
Do we want to see the Kirby tweet real quick?
Sure. Oh yeah, throw that up.
Yeah. So this is what he threw up yesterday.
Say keep me out your mentions.
Yeah.
So you think he's taking a shot at everyone calling, and there were people on my Twitter responding to things, calling him he's still dirty. Like it'll come back to haunt him.
Who's dirty?
Kirby.
Kirby Joseph is not dirty.
Right?
Get out of here.
I don't remember a flag being thrown once on these calls that people are.
Why is he dirty? Because he makes tackles?
Yeah.
Is he dirty because he makes interceptions in the end zone?
Yeah.
Come on now, don't be soft.
Stafford's a dirtier passer. He needs to clean his passing up. That's a whole conversation for a whole show.
Don't lead your receivers into danger.
Exactly.
How about that?
That's Tom Brady publicly continues to pound the table publicly. Make a better throw. Don't lead your receivers. Don't lead your tight end like that. That's one thing that's special about Goff. Say what you want about his arm and everyone, his wobbly ducks and whatnot. He keeps his receivers out of harm's way. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, I asked him that last year in the locker room, and Amon-Ra was glowing. He's like, I feel comfortable going across the middle because he's going to throw and protect me. I can still be me and be tough. He's going to keep me out of harm's way.
Yeah, that's very important. I don't people don't understand that. And receivers get pissed.
Oh, yeah.
When you lead them too much. Calvin Johnson used to hate that. And he used to talk about that.
He hated it so much that he retired. Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Michigan-Ohio State game last year, he made a business decision at the end of that game for the game-winning interception. We're not talking Michigan, but receivers do that. It's not the same the Hines Wards of old that they go over the middle and they just take their hits with Brian Dawkins, John Lynch, the real safeties back there who could hit.
But a lot of times receivers say, I'm not dying for this guy. If he's going to keep leading me into danger, I'll get the alligator arms. I'm not going to catch this ball over the middle like that.
St. Brown knows Goff has thrown it down. I'm going to go get that because someone's probably going to jump over my head and would kill me if I caught it right here. Terry, the debut of Bitch Please.
All right.
Where we if you want to set this up or just
This is what Bitch Please is. Let me explain this to you. This is when somebody says something stupid and then the Lions or whomever proves it wrong. First bitch please, I'm going to bitch please myself.
Wait, you're shooting yourself?
Yeah, I'm shooting myself right in the face.
Why?
I was listening to the little morning show with you little kids, which is coming up next here on Woodward Sports.
Okay, Gramps.
And he was like, hey, who's going to get more yards? Amon-Ra St. Brown or JAMO? I'm like, yeah, kids, shut up. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. It's got to be Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's like the Rip Hamilton of the Lions offense. Well, I think JAMO got more yards on one pass than St. Brown did the whole thing. So now I'm going to bitch please myself. Terry,
Bitch please.
Shut the fuck up sometimes. You don't know what you're talking about.
Do you see that video that just popped up? One more time, JB.
Bitch please.
JB's cooking up some graphics up there.
So
you just bitch please yourself.
Bitch please myself. Yeah, I can take it.
That's fair. How about one? I got one for you.
Okay.
I've kept hearing all offseason that Dan Campbell, he can't out-coach Sean McVay 2 games in a row at Ford Field. You know what I say to that? Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Dan Campbell, twice in a row. I got it. Now that I know that's coming, I'm going to let that go. Dan Campbell twice in a row. It wasn't pretty. I didn't think it was pretty. It was uglier than a baby born in Columbus, but they got it done.
It was ugly.
It was.
I'll
It
submit
was.
that.
You got another one?
But I want to piggyback off of your little thing.
Come
but,
hither.
The perception, it's hard to get perceptions out the way. First of all, the perceptions of McVay is this genius. If Sean McVay was a genius, how come you couldn't figure out Jared Goff, but Dan Campbell could?
I think he's smart. He's just a little bitch. Please.
No, he's smart, but we still look at Dan Campbell as a meathead. He doesn't make great decisions. He's not really smart, but he is. He says a lot of things. What Dan Campbell does, he says a lot of smart things, but he hides it in the minutia of silliness. So we don't understand how smart this guy is, and he's a damn good coach.
Yeah. Their styles are completely different, and it does work for them. McVay wouldn't work in Detroit. I think Dan Campbell would work anywhere, but he's not built for L.A. He's built for Detroit. They're different styles.
Maybe Dan Campbell wouldn't work in L.A.
He might not. He fits more here. He is Detroit. Mm-hmm. He is Detroit. You got a second one?
I got a second one. The second bitch please is with Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell, in overtime, they asked him, okay, man, we're running your way. There's going to be like 20 players over there. We want you to move them out. And Sewell was like, bitch, please, get out my way.
Yep.
Bam. Bitch, please, I'm going to pound you into the dirt. David Montgomery is really tough, but Penei Sewell, he was the Patrick Mahomes of that final drive because he was just moving dudes out the way. So, get out of here. And I'm sure as he buried people, Penei Sewell looked at him and said, bitch, please.
Yep. Yo, rookie. Jared
Get out
Verse.
my way.
Yeah, like, all right, backup linebacker.
I'm a man and I'm your mama. That's what he was saying. To them.
Yeah. I'm the best offensive lineman in the NFL. Bitch, please, get off.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
You don't even deserve to breathe the same air that I do.
Yeah, this is my field. I just thought of one that. Shoot, you
just thought of it's going to be dumb. So
it's going to
careful.
be. That is usually the formula. I'll go with the one I had. I can't now go with the one I had now that I'm live telling you about it. But I was thinking Jared Goff, after the game. Rams, you put Stafford's name up on Ford Field? Bitch, please.
Bitch, please.
Although, I thought Stafford was better last night.
He played well again. Played well. Keep racking up the losses in Ford Field. Matt. No, but my real one, real quick. I was told, Terry, that the Lions couldn't win unless St. Brown had 10 catches for 100 yards. Bitch, please.
Oh, that was me.
That was. No, but this is, and maybe we'll end with this. We got 4 minutes, or we'll take this to the end. Are you worried at all with the lack of stats production from St. Brown last night? Or does this almost give you hope for the future? Like he didn't have his, he had a down game.
I don't worry.
You don't, do you?
But I think that's a positive because now we are seeing the Lions are more versatile than we thought. Okay, they have, St. Brown has to have a big game for them to win. No, Laporta contributed, JAMO contributed, Gibbs contributed, and Montgomery just kicked the door down at the end.
Yes.
And then Penei Sewell, you have to talk about him in the same vein that you talk about a wide receiver, a quarterback, or running back, because he took over that game at the end and was telling the defenders, bitch, please, get out of my way.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that Lion fans you should be glad that happened, because it shows that there's a lot of versatility on this team. And they can win in different ways. Now, I temporarily lost my faith in Jared Goff last night.
Fair.
But at some point in the next game, I'm saying, let him sling it. He can do it. But it showed, even if Goff is not on this game, you got other people who can pick it up.
Without a doubt. And on the Penei Sewell comment real quick, Jim Harbaugh, to me, said it perfectly. He was talking about his team before the draft, but he said, to him, offensive linemen, they're weapons. Like drafting Joe Alt, that was a weapon for them. Penei Sewell, just like you said, Gibbs, St. Brown, JAMO. Penei Sewell's a weapon. He's a weapon for this Lions team, for Ben Johnson, and for Dan Campbell. I'm so glad you said that because I'm with you 100%. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm not worried at all about,
See, but you want me to worry. It's not going to happen.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Don't lie to me.
I don't. I want those who are worried to chill out a little bit. To say Brown had a bad game. It had a less than stellar game from statistically from his standpoints, but other guys stepped up. One next week against the Buccaneers, they now know. Look at everything JAMO can do now. They actually have to take him seriously, and he beat up on them last year too. That first game in Tampa Bay, they're now. You still have to worry about St. Brown, but now that JAMO emerged, we saw Gibbs and everyone you said, it's just going to make it more easier for St. Brown. He's going to be more open next game.
When they do with Gibbs, they put him in the slot a couple times. I think they'll do that more.
Yeah,
they're gonna give defenses different looks, and I think they'll confuse people. And the other thing is, St. Brown will be better. Gibbs will be better. All these guys, and you know what? And the dangerous thing, Penei Sewell's gonna be better.
Yeah, that whole offensive line.
As good as he was last night, he'll be better.
The offensive line, they were off. The timing was off with Goff. Glasgow rarely has penalties like that. They will be better. You're so right. Jordan Leinart
is over with now.
What was that?
It's on. The offensive line being off, that's done now.
They're a type of group led by Hank Fraley where if they'll probably view it as a bad game. that's going to motivate them for the rest of the season. Like, we're not doing that again. We're not. They got a real front seven coming to town. Not that the Rams aren't going to be good, but we're talking Vita Vea and the Buccaneers group, which we're going to talk about on Sunday at 8 a.m. They look good. They got a new offensive coordinator. That offense looked pretty good in week 1. So we'll see, Terry. Lions 1-0. Ugly or whatever, they're 1-0. The Bears won, Packers lost, and the Vikings won. So the Lions, that's how you got to start the season. It was ugly. You got to get that win.
Absolutely. And there's going to be 17 games. Lions will have 5 or 6 ugly ones.
Yeah. They proved they can win one of them. But one more primetime game put on Jared Goff and this Lions resume. That's 8 in a row, I think. They're doing what they can. Terry, 7:50, end of the show. We got Wake Up Woodward coming up next, 8 to 10 a.m., followed by Big D Energy, Armani and Edwards in the heavyweights. Let's keep this Lions momentum rolling. It was a really, really fun day, all day, starting with us yesterday. I'm so glad. Seemed like everyone had a good time. JB, thank you so much for your help in the TD booth.
Absolutely.
Terry, what a pleasure hosting Show 2 with you.
My pleasure.
Let's go. This is going to be a great Lions season.
I'm glad I got to educate you a little bit.
I need it. You got to school me up a little bit, Terry. Chat, everyone who viewed, thank you so much. If you could, hit that like button on the way out and hang around. We're going to have the stream up for Wake Up Woodward shortly. I'll see you at 8. This is Woodward Sports Network. This was Woodward and Maine. Terry, I'll see you Sunday at 8.
All right. Can't wait. See you.